Before we begin, this video is based on currently available information and announcements, and reflects our personal views on the upcoming RPG releases that we're covering. As always, we recommend you make your own informed call by looking into each game yourself and ensuring it matches your expectations, standards, and personal views. With that out of the way, let's begin. Role-playing games continue to be one of the most diverse and ambitious genres in the industry, and all signs point to this being the case in the near future. As we head into 2026 and beyond, several developers are pushing this genre in new directions, be it deeper player choices, more reactive worlds, or combat systems that demand real mastery. From sprawling open-world epics to tightly focused action RPGs and experimental narrative-driven experiences, the coming months are stacked with promising releases. To that end, we are taking a closer look at 20 RPGs of 2026 and beyond that should definitely be on your radar. Arknight's Endfield. Arknight's Endfield represents a major shift for the franchise, expanding its tower defense roots into a full-fledged action RPG. Real-time combat, squad-based mechanics, and large-scale environments are just a few highlights of the experience, but there's a lot more to get excited about as well. Despite the stark change, the game retains its distinctive art style and emphasis on world building. Arknight's Endfield already received decent reception, and it's definitely worth checking out. Code Vein 2. Code Vein 2 looks to build upon the foundations laid by its predecessor, refining its anime-inspired Souls-like formula while expanding its systems. Combat remains heavily stamina-driven with an emphasis on mastering timing and positioning. The Blood Code system is expected to return in a more flexible form, allowing players to adapt their playstyle without committing to a single build. With improved visuals and a darker narrative tone, Code Vein 2 is all set to offer a more cohesive and confident game this time around. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined aims to put a modern twist to one of the franchise's most beloved entries, without losing its traditional RPG charm. The turn-based combat remains intact, but several quality-of-life improvements and updated visuals should help make the experience more approachable for modern audiences. Between this and an emphasis on character-driven storytelling, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is poised to appeal to both longtime fans and newcomers alike. Nioh 3. Nioh 3 continues Team Ninja's evolution of its fast-paced action RPG formula, and looks all the better for it. While the core combat framework remains familiar, the introduction of both samurai and ninja combat style adds meaningful variety to encounters. Players are encouraged to experiment with different approaches, blending last-minute dodges with aggressive strikes. Visually, the game looks sharper and more stylized than its predecessors, reinforcing its identity. Valor Mortis. Valor Mortis is a dark fantasy RPG that leans heavily into grim world building and methodical combat. Its bleak environments and subdued color palette reinforce the oppressive tone of the world. It comes from the team who built the excellent Ghost Runner series, so there's a great chance that Valor Mortis will end up being a great time as well. Clockwork Revolution. Clockwork Revolution blends steampunk aesthetics with first-person RPG mechanics. Developed by In Exile, the game takes place in a time-manipulated city and allows players to alter past events and experience the ripple effects in the present. Combat is quite interesting, supporting multiple playstyles through gadgets, weapons, and abilities. Combine that with its ambitious storytelling framework, Clockwork Revolution is a deeply reactive RPG that encourages experimentation and replayability. Fatekeeper. Fatekeeper is an action RPG where you have to forge your personal legends through player-driven choices. Combat is all about mastering the mix of melee and magic attacks, and the first-person perspective makes these fights look extremely personal. Narrative progression adapts to player decisions, and players are nudged to find their own path and playstyle by investing into several skills. Fatekeeper looks like a solid RPG that's worth looking out for. Gothic 1 Remake. The Gothic 1 remake aims to faithfully recreate the cult classic while modernizing its presentation and controls. The iconic world design of the year 2001 remains intact, encouraging exploration and player agency without excessive handholding. Combat has been reworked to feel more responsive while preserving the game's original sense of danger. With improved visuals and updated systems, the remake is set to introduce Gothic's RPG designs to a new generation. Monster Hunter Stories 3: Twisted Reflection. Monster Hunter Stories 3: Twisted Reflection continues the series' RPG-focused spin-off, emphasizing turn-based combat and monster bonding over traditional hunts. The game expands on its creature collection mechanics, offering deeper customization and more meaningful team-building options. The vibrant art style perfectly contrasts a narrative that appears darker than before, and Twisted Reflection looks like a confident step forward for this series. Phantom Blade Zero. Phantom Blade Zero blends action RPG goodness with lightning-fast precision-based combat. Taking inspiration from Chinese martial arts, the game is all about mastering a careful dance of strikes and parries while building out flashy combo chains. Its dark, stylized presentation gives the game a strong visual identity, while encounters appear carefully designed to reward mastery. Unlike many Souls-likes, Phantom Blade Zero prioritizes speed without sacrificing depth, and that sets it apart from many of its contemporaries that are coming out in the near future. The Relic: First Guardian. The Relic: First Guardian is a fantasy RPG built around exploration and environmental storytelling. Combat sways from the traditional and leans more towards deliberate, weighty encounters that emphasize preparation and positioning. Its visual design favors grounded realism, creating a world that feels ancient and lived in. Fable. The upcoming Fable reboot looks to reintroduce the franchise's signature humor and whimsical tone while modernizing its RPG systems. Player choice plays a central role in the moment-to-moment gameplay, and what you end up doing shapes both the narrative and the protagonist's development. Combat looks to be more dynamic and appropriately modern, blending melee, magic, and ranged options in a fluid fashion. It's still some ways from release, but Fable is definitely a game that's worth looking out for. Beast of Reincarnation. Beast of Reincarnation dumps players into a surreal fantasy world where animals and robots are fighting for survival. Combat is heavily stylized, but it's also methodical in the sense that timing plays a crucial role in the heat of battle. The art direction is obviously the star of the show, and Beast of Reincarnation flaunts some visually striking environments and abstract creature designs. There's a lot of interesting stuff at play here, and this game is one that we really are looking forward to in the coming months. The Blood of Dawnwalker. The Blood of Dawnwalker is a narrative-driven RPG that leans into dark fantasy and moral ambiguity. Players are tasked to navigate a world shaped by ancient curses and political tension, and the choices that you make influence both personal relationships and larger conflicts. Combat favors tactical decision-making, encouraging careful use of abilities rather than brute force. The art direction is supreme, and combine that with the appropriately somber atmosphere, Dawnwalker could offer a compelling experience for RPG fans. Control Resonant. Control Resonant expands upon Remedy's supernatural universe while leaning further into RPG systems. You play as Jesse's long-lost brother, Dylan Faden, as he embarks on a grand quest to save the world from these supernatural entities. Character progression, ability customization, and environmental interaction play a larger role than before, and combat remains fast and chaotic as ever. Remedy's titular storytelling style returns, offering narrative depth through the exploration rather than direct exposition. If Resonant successfully balances action and RPG progression, it could represent a rather interesting evolution of Remedy's design philosophy. Exodus. Exodus is a sci-fi RPG built around interstellar exploration and long-term consequences. Combat blends tactical planning with real-time action, and character progression emphasizes specializing in skill trees. Exodus is quite ambitious in terms of its concept, and if developer Archetype Entertainment is able to execute those ideas with precision, it could be a big hit. The Elder Scrolls 6. The Elder Scrolls 6 remains one of the most anticipated RPGs of the decade, and while details about what the game might entail remain scarce, expectations are certainly sky high. Bethesda's signature sandbox design is expected to return, allowing players to shape their own paths through exploration and emergent gameplay. We're all waiting with bated breath just to get a glimpse of what's in store, but it's in everybody's best interest to keep those expectations in check for now. The Witcher 4. The Witcher 4 marks the beginning of a new saga within CD Projekt Red's acclaimed universe. While it moves beyond Geralt's story, the series' emphasis on narrative depth and morally complex choices should remain central to the experience. With Ciri and an evolved game engine, The Witcher 4 has the opportunity to modernize the franchise while preserving what made it iconic in the first place. Light No Fire. Light No Fire from Hello Games is a new, ambitious fantasy RPG that's set on a procedurally generated planet. Exploration plays a central role in the game, with survival mechanics, crafting, and cooperative play shaping the moment-to-moment experience. Unlike the developer's previous works, the game emphasizes grounded fantasy rather than sci-fi spectacle. Its vast scale encourages discovery and long-term progression, and Light No Fire could grow into a deeply engaging RPG built around community-driven exploration. The Expanse: Osiris Reborn. The Expanse: Osiris Reborn adapts the beloved sci-fi universe of The Expanse into a narrative-driven RPG experience. Political intrigue and faction dynamics have plunged the world into chaos, and you have to rise up and save the day. Combat is of the third-person kind, and it appears to be grounded and tactical. Combine that with its emphasis on dialogue, decision-making, and world-building, Osiris Reborn could end up being a really great time.
Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.